What's up, Family Liberty, as well as my anti-Karen soldiers and the political drain resistance out there? Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug here, and while LA is still under fire, and the zombified horde of racist worshippers of rapists and molesters who open their mouths wide to drink Mind Fuhrer McDonald's golden shower and ask for another cup. And by that I mean every fucking Republican who still wants to be a Republican in 2025 without shame and putting a bag over their face when they come out in public, while every one of them still have nothing but contempt and disdain for their fellow Americans who've lost everything in this natural disaster simply because the disaster happened to be in a blue state. We here at the Sons of Liberty and the political drain Spec Ops resistance don't want to forget that there are also still people in the red state of North Carolina struggling months after their own natural disaster, Hurricane Helene. And we aren't the only ones. I want to show you some of the life-saving work being done by brave North Carolinians to help their fellow citizens. And a team called Status Quo News who have never stopped with the boots on the ground reporting that's so necessary at times like these. So let's watch a little bit of this together and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Fantastic. And now joining me is James Lunsford. James Lunsford, who set up this Haven on a Hill camp where people are seeking shelter from their situation. The county approved this stuff. Have you been working with like the government and local municipalities, and how has that gone in making all this happen?
Kind of funny. The county wasn't helping with anything, so I just went to the state level. Now the county's helping.
What do you mean they weren't helping? Just
they weren't doing anything. They wasn't providing anything. They would give somebody a hotel voucher for a week or something like that. Mm-hmm. We would suggest putting parks like this, and they're like, no. We suggested tiny homes. They said no. So we went to the state, and the state approved, and the new governor stepped in and really approved. And now we already have 11 tiny homes waiting on people to put in them. It's just waiting on their infrastructure.
Yeah, how many displaced families, how many displaced people do you think are here?
There's over 100 people, but I would say at least 65 families. I asked FEMA, sitting right here, what they could do to help me help these people, and the gentleman looked at me and said, oh, there's no program that will help you help these people. I told him to have a nice day and walked away.
So not helpful?
None at all. Alone. There's been over 150 come through here alone. Some of them's got to go into homes. Some of them's got to go to their own properties with their own RVs once they got cleaned up. So we running about 100 steady count, but there's been over 150 since the storm. Pretty
much everyone here lost their homes?
Oh, most definitely. And most of them were like renters or something like that, and FEMA don't help renters. If they didn't lose a home, they will give them the money to build one if they didn't lose one to begin with.
Oh, that's true. And you said you tried to build tiny homes here, and you weren't allowed.
They were already built. And
they were already built?
Already built, ready to be donated. And the county said, no, you can't put tiny homes for people with this, and this. And then the state stepped in and said, no, this is for emergency shelter. They didn't care if it was a doghouse that a person could fit in. Mm-hmm. The county had no authority over it or anything else for 180 days.
Are the tiny homes going to be built now?
I was already built. I've got 11 of them.
Oh, where?
Down at the new place.
The new camp has the tiny homes?
Got 11 of them down there and about 6 RVs.
And how long did it take to get allowed to build the tiny homes? How long was that process?
2 months.
2 months of fighting with the government so you could build shelter. Yeah, so they just said no.
Right. And I told them, watch me.
The same way that FEMA said, we can't help you help them, only we can help them, is essentially what they said.
Exactly. The FEMA came up here to talk to these people. When they left, one of the residents walked up and said, now you see why we depend on you so much? I said, yeah, that was 45 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Because it was just a waste of time.
So no monetary funding from FEMA or the federal government in any capacity?
No, not yet, but I look for that to change around the end of the month.
Oh, yeah? You're hoping that Donald Trump can...
He's already been business want to know it twice.
Interesting. So you have faith that once the new administration comes in, maybe some help can come your way?
A bunch of changes. A lot of accountability and a bunch of changes.
Well, I mean, that's something to consider. I don't know. I haven't seen, but what leads you to believe that?
I heard it straight from the people responsible for it.
So like people within the team?
People within his team.
So
Just like the new governor did as soon as he took office the 1st of January. Once the new administration took over to where it could correct things, it started immediately.
So you've already seen a change in your interactions with the state government?
Yeah, state government has pretty much told the county, help these people do what they need. The governor said, help them or answer to me.
And why do you think that is?
Because he was sitting there as Attorney General seeing them not get any help and couldn't do anything about it with the former legislation. The new bunch, he don't have to sit and wait. He does it himself. It's just a stroke of a pen. He did six or seven executive orders within 2 hours after he was sworn in for helping the people.
Got it.
Now, first, God bless this gentleman for what he's doing, right? I mean, he's able to help so many people affected by the hurricane. It's admirable. It's inspiring. But there's a couple of things I noticed watching this video. First, James from Haven on the Hill tried to get help from the county he's in, Haywood County. Haywood County has a Republican-controlled county government. He says he then went to the state level and finally got help. Outgoing Governor Roy Cooper is a Democrat. Newly elected Governor Josh Stein is a Democrat. So this seems to be yet another example of how the Democrats are the only ones who want to help people, and not the Republicans. You may also remember the North Carolina GOP supermajority in the General Assembly reduced the amount of aid from the state to only 25% of what Governor Roy Cooper asked for. In addition, James was complaining that FEMA couldn't help him to help other people, that they wouldn't give him money so that he could help others. The reason why is something like that is against federal law. It's because it sets up a situation in which fraud could happen blatantly, flagrantly, and often, right? I don't believe that this gentleman would commit fraud. I don't. I think he is genuinely trying to help others, and it's evident in what he's doing. However, others would take advantage of this situation for their own gain. That's why it's illegal. Also, I heard a lot of comments about FEMA during this video, so let's look at the facts. These figures are from October 15th, 2024, so probably things have changed and things may be different. But here we go. Over 102 million have been distributed through FEMA's individual and household programs. That's $1 million. This includes $18.6 million for homeowners assistance for immediate relief for housing, $83.6 million to help with other serious disaster-related needs like moving expenses, childcare, disaster-related dental, medical, or funeral expenses. In October, 1 month after the storm, the FEMA website showed that 6 disaster centers were immediately set up after the storm. The one in Clyde, North Carolina, started getting set up about 2 p.m. the same day. Storm came through in the morning, and then later, several more relief centers were set up. FEMA teams have registered more than 5,000 individuals in their signups for assistance. FEMA has provided hotel rooms for over 2,000 individuals and families, and I know that's temporary, but that's a lot. It's a lot. FEMA has inspected over 14,400 structures in WNC, West North Carolina. Now, look, if you want me to sit here and tell you that everything is perfect, FEMA is doing great, there's never going to be a situation where that's the case. The situation is, on the other hand, they're doing everything they can with the money they have allotted to help the most people and cut off the most amount of fraud that they can. That's what they're doing. I just want us to be careful when we talk about this type of stuff and what we're asking for and what we're willing to do, like James, which is commendable, which is pick up the slack and be about it. I love that. If you look at the facts, it's much easier to dismiss what you may have heard from your neighbor's Uncle Joe, who listened to his best friend Bubba, right? Lies travel halfway around the world before the truth can get its boots on. And rumors grow exponentially, passing through each set of lips, like the game of telephone. Look, this was an effort by federal agents and local law enforcement to save people's lives, and some individuals complained about that effort. It was inconvenient for them to leave their homes in the middle of the night because of what was believed to be an impending wall of water rushing down a mountain straight toward them. You get what I'm saying? This makes me wonder if it wasn't the same people that have been spreading lies and rumors about FEMA and about federal government's response. We're now seeing those same type of lies being spread about the California wildfires. Using a natural disaster in an attempt to score political points by one party is even more so disgusting than just being your regular run-of-the-mill disgusting Republican in 2025 without a bag over your face in public. And let's face reality here. It's not the Democrats spreading the lies about natural disasters. I just wanted us to keep that in mind. If you're one of the few, the motivated few who made it to the end of this, all the way to the end without giving up, right there in the comment section, right? Drill Sergeant. I made it, Drill Sergeant. And, what time is it? Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.